We'll wait for Andrew to get in. They're all coming. Sounds like it's on, yeah. All right. Taking too long, Andrew. Wow, that got everyone's attention. Is this on? You hearing me? Yes. Great. Thank you. Welcome to Northboro Unitarian Universalist Church. It's a clean-lined, beautiful, old, new church with a heart that yearns for justice in a world and wisdom to guide our action. My name is Chris Woodcock. I'm your worship assistant this morning. You will soon be rid of me. Anyone with a cell phone is encouraged to blush apologetically and run quickly outside to quiet their phone when it rings, interrupting a poignant spiritual moment for the rest of us. Or you might turn the ringer off. And Renee, when she finishes her closing and chalice extinguishment, will remind you all to turn it back on again, won't you, Renee? We'll try. So remember to turn them back on. Here is the truth. You probably know what is coming. However, if you're new to a UU church, you could be in for an hour of punishingly touchy-feely, nondescript spirituality that just feels, I don't know. However, if you've never been here, you could be in for an hour that feels refreshingly open and maybe your new spiritual home. That will figure itself out soon enough. Regardless, it is probably too late to get up and run for the door. Our ushers, Bob and Tracy back there, have been trained to stop anyone making a dash for the door and to razz anyone whose cell phone rings. That's not true yet. That said, we are glad you are here today. Stay tuned for coffee hour next door after the service. I have a couple of announcements. Mother's Day, Memorial Day Fair is a week from tomorrow. May 25, I think, is the date. Let's see, Barb would be someone to talk to if you have any questions. Renee, maybe. Anybody else that people should talk to if they have questions about the Memorial Day Fair? Donna, yeah, but she's not here, so they'll have to go all the way to her house to find her to talk to her today. Oh, Donna. Okay, Donna too. Second, potluck dinner, second to last Friday. Is that this Friday? It is this Friday. So 6 days from now, 5 days from now, whatever it is, potluck dinner next door. And let me see, men's group is meeting this Tuesday. We meet the third Tuesday of every month. We're moving the time to 6 o'clock instead of 7. So we're doing a 6 o'clock start. So all the old men who can't drive in the dark can get home in time before it gets too dark. Jerry might even come. He doesn't mind because not being able to see at night lets him get off without seeing who he's hit. So maybe work for you. Anyways, it's next door, 6 o'clock on Tuesday night. Anybody else have any other announcements? Oh, yes.
Somehow, a tiny mistake was in the order of service. Offertory and postlude should be reversed. Okay, so that's all.
Thank you, Olga. My name is Corey Woodcock, and I have a couple of readings that I found on the UUA website. The Goddess. Some people know her conceptually through mythology, art, history, while others worship her as a deity and a creator. She is sometimes referred to as the divine feminine, the great mother, Mother Earth, though she exists in many different manifestations throughout the world and throughout history. Theologians, archaeologists, historians, experts in folklore have documented thousands of goddesses from many cultures and pantheons. They are known by countless names and images. They represent not only the feminine aspects of divinity, but also aspects of our humanity. And many are still revered today as they were thousands of years ago. First, we'll do our chalice lighting with these words. Sacred ground. In the presence of this fire, we hear the voice of God, of our goddess, of our holy. You are on sacred ground. In the presence of the flame, in me, in you, in us, moving, resting, gathering. We are on sacred ground. In the presence of this fire, we are compelled to take up a torch, to carry a flame, to seek a sacred ground. In the presence of this spark, we are committed to the light, the fire, the passion of life, of holy work, to journey towards truth on sacred ground.
Let us now call the directions. I will first light the candle in the east. Spirit of air, of mind, and the intellect. Lift us as a soaring eagle that we may see clearly and far. Inspire us with your winds of change as we create a world of equality, a world that honors difference. Now we will light the candle in the south. Spirits of the south, spirit of fire, passion, and of will. Rise up, O flame, and kindle our desire. Energize us with your gentle passion as we bring light to each other. Now I will light the candle in the west. Spirit of the west, spirit of water, of emotion and of sensitivity. Wash us with your tranquil ponds until we find serenity. Move us with the flow of your ever-changing emotions and help us to find your powerful tides within us. Now I will light the candle in the north. Spirits of the north, spirit of earth, of body, and of grounding, with your practical and stabilizing nature, help us to establish, crystallize, and nurture energy. Make manifest through it. Now I will light the candle in the center. Spirits of the center, spirit of transformation, of cauldron, and of change, be with us as we relate in new ways. Help us to honor all of humanity as we bring a new world to birth.
right? So I'm going to be the one exception to the rule of the phone right now, just because I need to read this. Can you hear that? Right, it goes on for quite a bit, but I wanted to start with that. In traditional Navajo speakings, I'm going to give you a story, and it's normally I would have to do a blessing before this, but we don't have that much time, so I will save that piece for possibly a different day. But normally this is a story that you would hear as a woman, and it's normally told to a woman who is going through a puberty ceremony. So when you're a young girl, you get your first menstruation, there's generally a ceremony you go through called kinada, and that's, in that ceremony there's women around you, and they teach you a lot of lessons of life and becoming a woman, and what it means to go forward in your new state. And so this is a story that comes from one of the elder women in your group that should tell you this. Okay. Teaching of naming of girls when they become women. In the Kinalda ceremony, a woman is given a warrior name, a special name that men are not given. Men are given names with the ending hashke in their name, and that means to like scold or to correct. So in this world that we see today, the fourth world, the women have different abilities than the men that come from before any of us were born into this current existence. When women have their first blood from their womb, women either already have or are given a name that no man can have. This new woman is given different types of glory from a man, which is deeply spiritual. There was a world of spirits, which was the second and first worlds. These existed before we, the children of the holy people, came into the third world, which is the physical environment. In the third world, we had the first emergence of sexes, male and female. In this third world, the holy people had to think out how the existences of these children of the holy people would become or exist in the third and fourth worlds. Black Yei made some suggestions to the other holy people and the children of the holy people. But the holy people did not agree with him, so he became very angry and caused division amongst the children of the holy people. As he set fire to the second world, he said to the children of the holy people, "Sheshe ak ho, inada edo," which means, "You will live according to my sayings." The male children of the holy people chose to follow Black Yei, and they chose to do what the evil one wanted them to do. But there was one group of spirit beings that were all female that said, "Do anada ijalada," which means, "We do not fit our role as beings that are female, as women, to do what you want, Black Yei." So in the second world, which is the blue world, this was destroyed by fire by Black Yei. And in the yellow world, through a series of other events we cannot describe now, this yellow world comes into existence. The evil one, Black Yei, tried to influence a woman in the newly created yellow world, the physical world, to do the worst things possible. Black Yei, in his revenge, tried to focus on the women and left the men alone. As a result, the men did not have the capacity to grow spiritually the the way women could in their physicalities. Since it was this one woman who represented all other women who were already warriors in the second world, and first woman brought into this third world her warrior name from the fight against Black Yeti, all female children of the holy people chose to respect her by taking names of the warrior spiritual selves from the second world. So Desba was my grandmother's name, and it means she is going on a raid. And then Bijaba means people joined her on the raid, and Nanaba means she returned from the raid. And then the ending Ba means raid, warrior, woman, or war, depending on the context. And the first part of the word gives the context for what it means. So there's lots of other names out there, but these are names of women I personally know. And there's, this is a name usually women are given during the ceremony. So since the physical bodies of the women were being formed and the Black Yeti was vengeful, he made female bodies hold more pain in the physical life. This is what we call our emotions and the spiritual depth, and how it combines into more physical pain than a man as we move into puberty and our life-giving stage. Women can feel the pains of life more than men through their menstruation, giving childbirth, and feeling deeply when someone dies or someone is grieving. Black Yeti will go after her family and cause death and harm to them. Black Yeti does not come after the male in the same way. And so women's spirits are caused greater pain in their minds than men from this fight and from this curse. But in the fourth world, which is our current world, medicine people interpret this whole story as a woman's strength. They say that only women understand these changes and their bodies as holiness. It takes great fortitude and spiritual power to hold all this pain in a human body as a physical child of the holy people, whom is female and becomes a woman. As a result, men know that women have an intuition that men do not have. Men are left out of this blessing of deep spirit and deep defense of what is good. Men have to earn in a lot of ways, which are called ceremonies, it's another way to say a way, that are spiritual understandings that are so very important to this fourth world. That is why when boys come into puberty as young men, they are given the sweat lodge and many physical tasks to complete. They are trained in their logic, not because it is better logic, but because compared to women, they have to spend more time in the physical side of the logical mind since they lack an inborn spiritual depth. It takes men a lot of work to become as spiritually deep as a woman is from birth. They have to climb to the top of the mountain to collect the sacred herbs and stones and medicines. They have to dance and express themselves through movement a lot more than women in ceremony to try to achieve the same closeness to the holy people. This is why women do not sing or drum as much or as loudly as men do, because women already have the ability in their bodies to climb those spiritual mountains inside them. The women have great glory in this life. They have the same ability as holy people. Only the women can create the physical beings. Only the holy people can create the spiritual being. Babies are sacred. A baby first cries when it comes from painful bleeding of the women, but it is the mother's job to teach that child to laugh and to find joy and to fight against the darkness. The five-fingered are all made sacred by the mother. And so I just wanted to say that the dress I'm wearing is more of a maid's dress. So once you move past, it's usually marriage, but also puberty, you would change your dress from this style to a different style. So I like this one because it's colorful and it met the color requirements for today. But there's another dress that would be for older women that usually older women don't wear this. And then this is a cute little baby outfit that is kind of the same. And this is the style that we use for little girls, like little tiny girls. So this is commonly what you probably see in storybooks, and it's more the typical picture. So it's just two rugs that are given together, that are sewn together. So there we go. Thank you.
This is the time in our service when we come together as a community in support of our community. And as you heard, in tribute to our marvelous buildings and grounds, and Jean just walked in. Jean, you don't know, but we are proud of it. The buildings and grounds, so both of our oddly orders have failed at the same time for this building and the next. This is a time to give for the works of our community. And the half plate for this month goes to Veterans Inc. in Shrewsbury, an organization that hired me last year to do a keynote. And it gave me an opportunity to see their facilities and the work they do. I was so impressed. I didn't ask for Veterans Inc. to be the half plate this time, but I'm so pleased they are. Their work is invaluable for veterans with addiction issues, and they're a marvelous organization. So we can please keep
This is an excerpt from Chains of Fire by Elsa Gidlow. I know myself linked by chains of fires to every woman who has kept a heart. In the resinous smoke, I smell hut, castle, cave, mansion, and hovel. See in the shifting flame my mother and grandmothers out over the world.
For each other's born, the morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each other's born, the morning star rises and sings for each other's child and falls the stars who we are. For each other's child and falls the stars sing who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandmother's dreams. We are our grandfather and sisters. We are a spirit of God. We are waters of God. We are waters of God. We are waters. We are sons of great God. We are sons of God. We are waters 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 of God. We are neighbors of peace and loves of God. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandmother's dreams. We are our grandmother's dreams. We are the spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandmother's dreams. We are our grandmother's sisters. We are spirit of God. We reach out and join the morning sunrise. Who we are. We
I've been looking forward to this for some time. I am Kathleen, daughter of Rita Marie, daughter of Gertrude Josephine, daughter of Mary Higgins. It is in this way that women introduce themselves by their matriarchal lineage, a ritual that reveals respect for the generations who came before us and the importance to our modern identities. 30 years ago, living in the very conservative city of Charlotte, North Carolina, I found the UU Church, a breath of rarefied and richly oxygenated air. There I joined a vibrant women's spirituality circle. We called the sacred circle, as Renee did for us today. We made art, we made food, we drummed, and we danced. Self-care was woven throughout these practices, and it was a heavenly time for me. And when I moved to New York, I was blessed to find a well-formed cakes group here, a lovely circle of women deeply connected in their life journey together for decades. All of them say the curriculum changed their lives. It is a legacy of First Parish that inspires me. Last year, you elected me to be the delegate to GA. I went to the trade fair, and at the UU Women and Religious table, I purchased a recently revised edition of the Cakes for the Queen of Heaven. That will be photo 2, Stephanie. It was first published in 1986, and it's now been updated to reflect rapid advances in archaeology and evolutionary biology, my other passion. My worlds have collided, and I am just thrilled with what both of them yield. The purpose of today's sharing aligns with that curriculum to reclaim women's contributions to art, literature, music, science, and religion across history. I would also add to reclaim women's capacity for leadership and governance, but I want to be clear, not in the style of Pam Bondi or Christy Nome, but in the spirit of Jane Goodall, Eleanor Roosevelt, Wangari Maathai, the woman who planted trees in Kenya, celebrated by Reverend Judith in her last sermon here. What men need to know about women's spirituality. The Dalai Lama has said, there is scientific evidence that women are more sensitive to others' pain. We heard this in Shanadine's sharing. In human history, most warriors were men, whereas women consistently show more concern for others' well-beings. In this century, women should take a leading role in promoting loving kindness. Heather Cox Richardson recently corrected the history of Mother's Day, noting it began in the 1870s after the Civil War. After the sheer enormity of death in the Civil War and the Franco-Prussian War, Julia Ward Howe from Framingham asserted that women must take control of politics from the men who had permitted such carnage. Mother's Day was not designated to honor mothers with flowers. It was a part of women's effort to gain power to change society. From my studies in evolutionary biology, both voices make incredibly salient points because evolution has not stopped. We remain under environmental pressures and extraordinary ones at that. And if we are to survive as a species, I'm suggesting we look at this past to find a way forward. Throughout history, women's contributions have been ignored, subverted, and expunged. Here's a quick example. At the end of our time together, I will be playing music with Olga by Fanny Mendelssohn Hensel, Felix's sister. Fanny and Felix were tutored together, each being extraordinarily gifted, but Fanny was forbidden to publish her compositions because she was a woman. Some of Felix's pieces are actually hers and unacknowledged as such. After their father died, she begged Felix for his permission to publish. He finally relented, but she died at the keyboard shortly after, at the age of 41. Her compositions number over 450, most unpublished in her lifetime. You will get to hear one of them today. This curriculum has 5 sessions in which we gather together. I'm going to give you an overview of each one and augment a little bit with the science that thrills the daylights out of me. I hope it will you. In session 1 was called The Sacred Female. In ancient times, the female body was revered as the source of all life. And we heard that again reflected in Shanadine's sharing. Female images abound in the oldest archaeological record and continued for thousands of years. And if you go to photo 3, Stephanie, they're carved into cave entrances. Some are also worn as pendants. As we move to photo 4, I went to southern Germany to see the flutes that I was so very, very passionate about, made of bone. And in this museum, I also saw the Venus of Herfels. That's photo 5. She is 35,000 years old. The flutes are dated to be 40. I had to see them with my own eyes. Well, the flutes, and I just was bonused with the Venus. In photo 6, the Venus of Willendorf was recovered in Lower Austria. This is on the front of your order of service, and I bought this statue when I was in Germany. These figurines, as we heard, these Venus figurines are found across Europe, Siberia, and much of Eurasia, which is in photo 7, Stephanie. What do you make of their purpose? Why would they be making these? This is what scientists do. They sit around the table, they go, why, how, why? They try to find evidence for their hypotheses. Let me tell you what men have come up with. Scientists suggested these statues represented obese women as aesthetic ideals or signals of biological readiness. Some thought of them as shamanic tools, and as recently as 1978, one scholar assumed they were made, touched, carved, and fondled by men because clearly no other group would have such an interest in the female form. Doesn't sound like there were any women at that table, does there? A recent study, however, and if you want to hear about a true angelic intervention, ask me about this at coffee hour, as a woman who introduced this to me at the Charlotte airport. A recent study tested these carvings from a self-viewing perspective, looking down. It changed everything. Because when a woman looks down upon herself, these are the proportions she sees. These figurines represent normally proportioned women at different stages of biological life. They are self-portraits, executed millennia before mirrors existed, carved by women, a recognition never previously considered. They likely encode obstetrical and gynecological knowledge representing women's self-conscious control over the conditions of their reproductive lives. By the way, these carvings represent a time in human history that is now generally understood as occurring before the advent of language. Also something that I have been studying for some time, language and music from its origins. We were musical and we were artistic before we were linguistic. I broke it. I'm having to go back to Germany. Session 2, the mother-daughter relationship in the 3 life stages of women. In photo 8, Stephanie, the maiden, mother, and crone are shown as the 3 stages of a woman's life. Gentlemen, look around you at these gorgeous crones, these beautiful, strong, wise women. Scholar Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who wrote Wolves Who Women, actually it's Women Who Wolves Want to Run With, writes that the crone is the one who sees far, who looks into the spaces between worlds, who sees the heart's eyes with the soul's eyes, through the eyes of the creative and animating force of the psyche. The crone rules over life and death, knowing how to be midwife at both ends of life's spectrum. If you would go to slide 9, there was a lot of visuals with the curriculum, and I've sought to bring some here. The word crone has become distorted, twisted to mean a mean and cruel and ugly woman, sometimes, oftentimes with magic. This is perpetuated through fairy tales, myths, anchored in the actual Inquisition of the Catholic Church. Think of the stories we know and tell today, like Hansel and Snow White, magical, cruel, ugly women living alone. This subordination was a way to dismantle the power women had in society that Pincus Estes talked about. Here's what can happen when a woman is allowed at the table. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes is known for the grandmother hypothesis, answering the question why, when you live as a couple, do women live on average 7 years longer than men? Why? You eat the same food, you have the same toxins. What she created was the grandmother hypothesis that humans, females, evolved unusually long lifespans because grandmothers increased grandchildren's survival by contributing food, childcare, social knowledge, and cultural transmission. Society needs our elder women in order to survive and thrive. The church needed to undermine crones for power, to get the power. Our beauty, strength, wisdom, and insights have been subverted and expunged. Session 3 was on woman power. I invite you to consider these questions that we were asked. What difference would it have made in our personal lives if the God of this culture had been spoken of as female when we were growing up? What difference would it have made in the power structures of our society? The Burning Times is a film that depicts the evolution of matriarchal cultures, the rise of male-dominated religion, and the persecution of women to secure institutional power. This period is sometimes known as the Woman's Holocaust. Scholarly estimates of victims range widely from 60 to 100,000 over a period of 300 years. It was at this time that the three stages of a woman's life, the maiden, mother, and crone, were expunged to become the Trinity of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Yes, please emote. Session 4, the shift from goddess to God. Several theories explain this transition. You're going to love this. One 19th century theory held that sexual promiscuity became so intolerable that mothers had to establish rules and men were treated as inferior. And when that became intolerable, men overthrew the matriarchy. Does that seem intuitively strong to you? Carl Jung analogized societal development to individual development. As a child leaves the mother's nurturing to enter the father's world, so society must move from female to male deities to a higher form. Quote. A third theory points to successive migrations of patriarchal Indo-Europeans into Old Europe. And a fourth was the advent of writing elevated left brain linear thinking, displacing right brain holistic cognition in which women excelled. That book is over there too. Most of these books are. Sound plausible? Probable? Intuitively accurate? Let me say that I will bring these books over to coffee hour, and these books are not like in the New Age section of Tatnach. These books are actually from university presses who are very interested in these, and again, white scholars, male scholars, deciding what's what. So the last session was on a heritage of peace, and herein lies the possible future. And I invite us to consider this strongly. Societies were women-led or women collaborative. Those societies were utopic, peaceful, productive, commercially active, prosperous. Ask Caroline, she's got some great stories there too. According to archaeologist Marija Gimbutas, women and men of this area lived together with no evidence of weapons used by man against man, nor any artistic depictions of conflict, fighting, or torture. If you see all of the works at Lascaux, the cave paintings there, again, you do not see depictions of men nor of fighting. If you're interested in spending 5 evenings exploring this curriculum together, I would gladly support it. I'm happy to share the materials and show you what I have come with, added to them, and there are abundant resources linked to the book. I specifically and especially invite the men amongst us. I look at you, gentlemen, sweet, gentle men that I have long admired. You are a gold standard among your kind, and therefore great models for generations younger than you. How is your compassion, integrity, and thoughtfulness reaching the next generation of men? How are you lifting up the necessity to revise the historical record on behalf of women? And how might your men's group consider these resources? So let me end where I began with the same 2 questions. What difference would it have made in our personal lives if God of this culture had been spoken of female when we were growing up? What differences would it have made in the power structures of our society? Now we will sing hymn 1069, a favorite of the women's circles, Ancient Mother. Ancient Mother, I hear you call.
We will, we will now dismiss the directions. Spirits of the center, spirit of transformation, thank you for being in our circle today, guiding us toward honoring all of humanity with your spirit of relating to others. Spirits of the north, spirits of earth, thank you for being in our circle today, moving us toward grounding ourselves and nurturing fresh energy toward a practical and stabilizing nature in our lives. Spirits of the west, spirit of water, thank you for being in our circle today, washing us with your tranquil ponds, and yet helping us find the powerful tides within us. Spirits of the south, spirit of fire, thank you for being in our circle today, kindling our desire and energizing our passion as we bring light to each other. Spirits of the east, spirit of air, thank you for being in our circle today, inspiring us to see clearly as we create a world of equality, a world that honors differences. Go in peace. See you at coffee hour, and you can turn on your phones.